He says marriage is only and only between two people. If these two people realize and decide that the marriage has to work out, it will work out. Rest, all the pieces will fall in place. These marriages always between two. The pre-marriage, okay, and the marriage functions are between families, get it. But the marriage is between two people only. If these two people decide how it has to be handled, it will be handled. And exactly like if the male part understands that his mother interference should be moderated, would he also say that the wife's mother's interference should be moderated? The answer is yes. So I'm not saying whose interference should be moderated. Both sides.
Yeah.
Both sides. And let's be honest, this interference has got something to do with the history that we lived in. When the children were getting, or the people were getting married at the age of 18, 19, 20, 22, probably the interference was required.
Right.
Probably. Gone are the days.
Yeah.
Gone are the days. Today people are getting married post 27. Largely. I'm not talking about the big area of Rajasthan and Eastern UP where marriages are. Let's talk about metropolitan for some time. Okay. And I am more working in the metro cosmo kind of an environment. So from that perspective, the marriages are largely happening beyond 27 and it goes up to 40 and maybe even more. That is the time when they do not require that kind of a guidance or interference that they needed 50 years back. We have to realize that. Secondly, we have to realize the information pass on, and I cannot get into deeper about it in this conversation, but the information required for other dimensions of marriage, those were to be trust on by some older guy saying that been there, done that. Today is available, wisely available from books.
Yeah.
Intelligently available from books.
And podcasts.
And absolutely, your channel must be doing a great job in telling them as to how it has to be handled.
Right.
So now the interference की जरूरत नहीं. उस वक्त mandatory था, जरूरत थी, मजबूरी भी थी क्या? आज मैं कह रहा हूँ ना मजबूरी है ना जरूरत है. That's the difference.
Makes sense. And you said something like how the male or the husband can actually keep the interference at bay for, I think, like assertive communication around the couple is
expectation management. I'm a marketing salesperson. मैं कहता हूँ कि जैसे customer की expectation management होती है ना, expectation management का this much and no more and this much and no more, whichever way it has to be this thing. If it is decided in peacetime, we normally try to solve a problem in wartime.
Correct.
Never ever you can do it. Never ever. We have to resolve the issues in peacetime. When we see that we have got a function coming, or a Goa trip coming, or an offsite coming, why it has to be communicated in a jiffy 12 hours before the departure? Why? That's where the peacetime becomes a wartime.
Correct.
Okay. Suppose that was to be communicated 2 weeks in advance. Why was it not communicated कि मना करेंगे, ये करेंगे? वो तो 12 घंटे पहले भी मना कर रहे हैं. So it is all about dealing with your emotions, dealing with the people, dealing with the conversation in peacetime. Envisaging that such a time would happen.
And you said something about like peacetime communication and how we disagree. So I think healthy couples or successful couples, as you said, I think they fight well. It's not like they don't fight, but they fight well. So what are some things that make up for like a good fight?
I make it very, very simple. If you fight on the subject and keep the subject as the protagonist, there will never be a discomfort. Subject is the protagonist. आपने ये बोल दिया, मैं डिसएग्री करती हूँ, आप हमेशा ऐसे करते हो, is a problem. Okay, whereas हम जाएंगे देहरादून, कितने बजे जाएंगे, कितने बजे निकलेंगे, अगर इतने बजे निकलेंगे तो ये प्रॉब्लम आएगी. This is discussing the situation.
Right.
So you focus on the situation and solving of the situation. So what happens is these two people get together and solve a problem. Whereas the problem is dying over there and these two people are fighting. Never works out. If you really see, it is always true in any kind of soft handling of a situation is that you deal with the situation.
Right.
One of the two partners or one of the entities, right? Because it seems that the partners fight. It is the parents also fighting.
Right.
You know, if they are influenced, they are fighting.
Correct.
The important point is to keep the main thing, and that's one, if I may use the word jumla, I always use with my coaches. Please remember to keep the main thing, and the main thing. What is the main thing? कि हम लोग दोनों 2 दिन के लिए गोवा ऑफ साइड जा रहे हैं, ये बस मेन थिंग. इन 2 दिनों में मिस्टर सो एंड सो, मिस सो एंड सो आप कैसे हैंडल करोगे, मिस्टर सो एंड सो कैसे हैंडल करोगे, ये है ना सब्जेक्ट. उस सब्जेक्ट को डिस्कस, आपने मुझे बतलाया नहीं, तुमने बतलाया नहीं, बिना बतलाए चले जाते हो, हाउ डू यू थिंक हमको रोटी नहीं मिलेगी, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. This is fighting with the person.
Right.
So when I have started keeping so my work with my coaches, with the parents as well as marital couple, is to bring them. It takes a lot of time to bring them to the real issue. It starts with so much of muck, if I may say, so much of garbage.
Right.
That from garbage to come to the real issue kya hai. And you'll be surprised, Kritika ji, that sometimes when they see the issue, they almost find the solution on their own.
Right.
I have never given them a solution. I have only guided them to look at the road. I am a GPS. मेरे को नहीं मालूम आपको कनॉट प्लेस जाना है या चांदनी चौक जाना, आपकी मर्जी है. मैं आपको ये बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर कनॉट प्लेस जाओगे तो 15 मिनट में पहुंचोगे, चांदनी चौक जाओगे तो 1.5 घंटा लगेगा, इस रास्ते से जाओगे. That's all I have. My job is. Why should I be telling them what to do? Never ever. Never ever. What do you think we should be doing? Should we stay away? No, I did not say that. I did not say that. And with the way the turn of things have happened during COVID and all, we need to realize, including the elderly parents, because in today's world, Kritika ji, let's understand one thing very clearly. When the couples are getting married,
right,
the parents are getting old by biology.
Correct.
Can we deny it? If the couple is getting married at 30, 35, the parents have to be 55, 60, 65, 70, depending upon first child, second child. Here we are, okay. They are either at the prime of their career or maybe at the downfall of their career also, after touching their peak at about 45. Previously, the career peaks used to happen at 55. Today, career peaks are happening at 45. We have to accept it. You look at all the IT companies, non-IT companies, multinational, career peak is happening 45 years.
Correct.
When 45 years is, your child is barely 10 years old. Here is the situation where you have a responsibility towards aging parents,
as well as
your own career, which is on a shaky wicket, and the child's demand is only increasing. Not a funny situation. Not a funny situation at all. It is this hamburger, this sandwich, which creates a lot of rift. Okay, which shows up in food, which shows up in mother-in-law, which shows up in bua, which shows up in many other things. But the reality of life is that they have never been coached or trained, or no school education, no finishing school, no colleges ever told them how to deal with it.
Yeah, and there is
exactly
like this is multifold stress on a system which is not trained or equipped.
So when my son got out of university and got into work, etc., and he was also thinking that, my father is my liability, man, I told him very clearly, look my dear, you can't do anything about me. My health I will have to look after, and I will speak about my health during this podcast. I will look after. Suppose I drop down dead over here, you can do only 3 things. You can pick me in a car, okay, put me in an hospital and play hospital. Can you do anything else? The answer is no. The answer is a big no. Love, affection, everything fine, but logistically that boy can do only these 3 things, whether we like it or not. That's all he can do. Who is responsible for quote unquote parents' health? They think that parents also sometimes feel sooner or later will become dependent on the son. Why? I mean why?